All right, welcome into another edition of Catching Up with Tommy Mack here on 1010XL's podcast platform, of course, on 1010XL.com, on the 1010XL app as well. Make sure you download that great app, whether you want to check out the on-demand content or just listen to your favorite programming right there from your phone. I use it quite often, especially when the game's on or a show that I want to listen to, and I got other stuff to do. I plug it into the app and into the headset, and away we go. But always a great thing to do. So you'll see a ton of content. Of course, this show, which I appreciate all the support and love, and a ton of different shows. Of course, my show brought to you by Team Tommy Mack, one of them right here, Chris Lucero's Bail Bonds. Talk about them and the entire team. They're a great team. A little bit later on the show. Lots to get into today. I was a guest on Jags AM yesterday morning with Brian Sexton and John Osher. We'll talk about that. We did focus on the defense and defense coordinator Ryan Nielsen. Yesterday, of course, franchise tag season opens. We'll get into that. We'll look at the combine just a little bit, and we'll look at just some free agents that, you're hoping for, I'm hoping for, and at multiple positions. So we'll get into all of that, but before I do, let's welcome in Grammage, my producer. How you doing there, Grammage?
I'm good.
You are?
But I don't know if I'm as awesome as an awesome dish guy.
Oh, I am, yeah. That's me.
Thorough, consistent, honest.
Yeah.
Dish guy.
Yeah. Honest means you clean it good.
Oh, okay. Because I was going to say, how do you be a dishonest
Well,
dish
you
guy?
Might not flip over the side, you know what I mean, to get the back end. It's got to be thorough. It's got to be honest. Yeah.
Okay, that's fair. Because that's one of those things where probably like one or two washes, it wouldn't be a big deal.
Yep.
But if you've got the same dish for most people have their dishes for a couple years, whatever, it'll start to get pretty gross if you don't.
Oh, right. No, you got to make sure it's clean.
That's fair.
Now, listen, we use the dishwasher too, but then I also hand wash what I got to hand wash.
I like hand washing the big stuff.
Yeah. Pots and pans and stuff like that. Yeah.
My fiance is like she's like playing Jenga with the dishwasher.
Well, it's funny because I not your fiance, but in my household, when I see a pot or pan in the dishwasher, my immediate thought is that's pure laziness. Like, just wash it by hand. Save that for the dishes that got to fit in there, because we go, like a lot of families, go through so many dishes. Like, it runs twice a day full, I think, or at least once a day. No problem.
If you cook at home, you're going to rip through some dishes.
Yeah, no
sure.
doubt. And we do. We cook at home. We get some. My wife's a great cook. When my daughter's a great cook, and I can hold my own for the most part. All right, I told you I was going to give you a tip for today. Yeah. But you
wash the backside of the dishes.
Other than and be honest, being honest with it. But I was thinking about this as I was driving in and listening to. But if you haven't, and this goes to all the listeners. Now, a lot of you guys and gals my age and a little bit around my age, a little bit older, a little bit younger, you've already know this. But for the younger generation, do yourself a favor and listen to Guns N' Roses' Appetite for Destruction from the beginning to the end without stopping. Just go right through. Don't skip to your favorite ones. Just go all the way through, and I guarantee you this. It'll be one of your top 5 albums that you've ever listened to in your entire life. That's what I wanted to say today because
that's bold.
I'm hauling ass in here, and I love JTB because, it's highway, and you can get where you got to get. And I'm not the only one, and I'm a safe driver for the record. Now, this kind of music makes me drive a little bit faster. Whether it's Night Train or Out to Get Me, or Think About You. One of my favorites is Anything Goes, and you can use your imagination on that one. But it's all heavy rock and roll, and it was back when Axl Rose could sing. His voice, back in the day when he could sing, it was absolutely impeccable. Today it's sad because, he's trying really hard, and it's I know what it's like to sound scratchy, but never had a voice like that. Anyway, check it out, man. I don't know what kind of music you listen to. I love that rock and roll that gets me going. Like, that's what I'll listen to while I'm working out, or Metallica, or something just gets me. I don't care. It could be anything. It could be POD, boom. My playlist is pretty vast and various types of artists that get me cranking. So my playlist for working out is titled Hustle. Yeah, and then I got a Dad Bod's playlist, and then my boy Stoley gave me 2 different ones that are absolutely incredible. Just a combination, all kind of music. But anyway, man, I love music. Speaking of music, Dad Bod's playing this Saturday night. I didn't even have it in my notes, but I'll segue right into it. Back at Iggy's, out on the patio. Hopefully you can see us this Saturday night. We don't play again till mid-April. Well, nobody's around March because of spring break and whatnot, so we are off. Until then, if you want to come check us out, we'll crank out some good old rock and roll. All right, yesterday on Jaguars AM, it's a YouTube show. They do a great job. Kalani Stevens is normally there. She was not there. I was invited to come in. It was great. Brian Sexton, Johnny O. Man, what a studio they have there, Grammage. I hadn't seen the studios that the Jaguars have built in the Miller Electric Center. It's absolutely incredible. I mean, I don't know what they spent. At least $1 million. It has to be. And there's not just one, right? And they got these, walls that move and go up, come down, change the whole scenery. I mean, do all this kinds of stuff. It was really, really fantastic. And, man, what a great place to shoot some video, for sure. We had a great time. We talked heavy on defense coordinator Ryan Nielsen. This is what I'm finding out more about him, and maybe you have too, but I'm seeing quotes from former players and coaches saying he coaches hard, you better have thick skin, he's intense, but he's a great teacher, right? So you're got and this is, I'm thinking, like, this is exactly the kind of guy we need on this staff, because I don't think Doug is that. And it's okay. It's okay. Hey, listen, Doug's resume speaks for itself. But you do, and Dave Campo taught me this. He's like, typically, if you're one kind of coach, you want your, coordinators, at least one of them to be the opposite. Like, if you're a hard ass, you want one of the coordinators to be like, all right, I can be a good buffer. Hey, this is what the coach means. This is why he wants this. You just deliver it in a different way. I think there's some truth to that.
It's good cop, bad cop.
It's good cop, bad cop, right. You know where that was formed originally?
No.
World War II, the Germans used to do it to the airmen. They'd come in and they'd have a good guy like, hey, everything's good, we're going to take care. Have another guy come in and pretend like he's just beat the hell out of you or try to get information. That's where it started from. The Germans started. Good cop, bad cop.
Interesting.
Yeah, at least that's what my memory serves me.
I didn't know.
I think it does, yeah. Check it out. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I think it is back in World War II. But, yeah, good cop, bad cop. Good call. And we had that. Like Dick Giron, our D coordinator, was quiet. He hardly ever yelled. If yelled at all. Coughlin would scream. Now, the coaches, the assistant coaches, were screamers too. It was tough love all the way. Like, you either do your job or you're going to hear about it. You do it well, do it with energy and attitude. You know what I mean? Be prepared, all that kind of stuff. So I think that's going to be good. Look, we already know personnel-wise what they need. They need some more beef up front. And we're going to talk a little bit later. I'm hoping they get just a defensive tackle inside. And I'm not giving up on Hamilton yet. I'm not. I want to see him more in a 4-3-3 technique. We'll see what they're going to play. They're going to probably play a hybrid. They all do these days. You'll see a 6-2. You'll see a 5-2. You'll see a 4-4. You'll see all types of stuff. But you do have to have a base, and you do have to have the defensive lineman. It's interesting that Monty Kiffin is one of Coach Nielsen's influences, which was a fantastic defensive coordinator in the National Football League for decades, from Tampa, the Tampa 2, if you recall. I was asked this by Brian, and it's funny, I hadn't thought about the Tampa 2 in forever, but basically it's cover 2, but it's press cover 2. And you're jamming your guy at the line of scrimmage, and your front is playing the run on the way to the QB. That was like their whole mentality. So we're pass rushing every snap, and if it's not a pass, well, then we'll just play the run on our way to the QB. If that makes sense. They had the personnel to do it. You had Warren Sapp, you had Booger, you had Simeon Rice, Lonnie Martz, Hardy Nickerson, Derek Brooks. You were pretty loaded. You know what I mean? You really did have John Lynch in the background. Who was the corner? The twin. Barber. Rondé Barr. You had some unbelievable players in that. So it makes sense when Coach Nielsen's saying, hey, we're going to attack, because that's an attacking style defense, right? My corner's got to be physical. They got to be able to jam. They got to be able to play force, which means against the run, you're the end. They can't get around you. You have to make that tackle.
You become the sideline.
And it's not easy. It's not, especially when the big old lineman's coming at you, and you can't take them out at the knees anymore. Like, you can't just dive at them so they can't knock you down. You got to shake, rattle, and roll them and hopefully get back to the ball carrier. So that's why we're going to need – our corners to be able to press, it sounds like. Doesn't mean they'll always press. They may line up as press and then back off. But I do like the whole – look, everyone's going to say you're attacking. But when I hear that one of his influences, he's got others, is Monty Kiffin, that makes kind of sense. Now, go back to Caldwell where I was like, oh, man, he learned from Jimmy Johnson who attacked all the time. Caldwell would blitz. He blitzed pretty – yeah, he wouldn't blitz as much as I would have liked, but – look, I don't know, not to get into it, but you can call a blitz, but if they don't get there on time, you know what I mean? If the timing's off, somebody said that during the playoffs. Maybe it was during the Super Bowl. Maybe it was one of the Kansas City Chiefs defensive backs who was talking about, look, when our number's called the blitz, it's got to be the perfect timing, right? So if I'm a nickel, you're pretty far off the line of scrimmage and away from the center of where the ball is. So you got to time that up, where when I go, they can't block me and they don't see me coming. So you can't go too quick because then they'll recount if they think you're coming, right? Protection will slide out even more to grab you. But if someone picks you up and you don't win and you're there late, it's not the coach's call. It's the fact that you didn't execute the call the way you have to.
And now all we've done is lose a man to the back.
Lose a man in coverage, right? I remember my linebacker coach would like, don't play air. Like, don't just be, there, like, just hanging out. Like, go either attack the QB or get on your cut, you know what I mean? But don't just play air. Don't just kind of muddle around and think you're going to read and make when everything's behind you. You don't even know where it is. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Or do something to disrupt that timing. So, look, I like what they're saying. I like what Coach Nielsen's saying. I like the fact that he's intense, and it's going to be and look, I'll tell you this, even our players included, most NFL players, they want structure. They do. They want structure. They're okay with accountability. It's all based on how it's delivered, right? It's all based on that. And in my belief, you got to give the praise as much as you give the critique. So when they do well, you got to make sure, because then it's a habit. It's like growing up. You get good grades, your parents are happy. You get bad grades, they're not happy. You either get grounded or spanked or what, depending on you know what I mean? Like, so but you gotta, as a coach, in my opinion, and I don't care what sport, what level we're talking about, that praise has got to be equal to the critique, because then when the critique comes, they know the praise is going to come too, when it's warranted. So, anyway, I'm beginning to really like Ryan Nielsen and what he stands for and what he's done in the past. But, again, I'll tell you this. This is going to sound awful, Grammage, and I probably don't really mean it because I'm going to go anyway. But, after the season ended, one of my thoughts was like, I don't even want to go to camp next year. I was so pissed off because all the hype last year, and I bought into it too, and I gave some of it too, and then just the disappointment. And I was just like, I don't know if I'm going to waste my time going down there. I'll see all the reports. I'll look at all the videos that are out. I'll be able to create my opinion without half the time you're standing around anyway with your back. You know what I mean? It's especially in Doug's kind of practices because they're kind of slow to begin with individual. Team drills. You know what I mean? It takes a while to get to the team. The individuals are fun for a little while, but how many times did we watch the receivers run routes this camp without nobody covering them or anything? Just like after a while, please.
For you, it's probably even less because you played, and you probably you're really numb to it. For the people that go to camp a lot, and I go quite a bit, the individual stuff is fun for the first
You see the
2
athleticism
days.
stuff. Yeah.
And you're like, oh, cool, they're back. You're watching Ridley run routes and whatever, and look how fast he is and all this stuff. And then by, for me, it wears off pretty quick for me. By, day 3, I'm like, all right, I want to see some plays be run. I want to see some organization of
against
an offense.
some competition.
I want to see some stuff be called against a defense, people trying to stop you. And then that has luster for 3 to 4 days. And then it's like, all right, I'm ready for Pats.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but they didn't come to the last practice this past game. Anyway, so I did. I really had those thoughts. I'm like, man, I'm just so ticked off. And it's like the boy who cried wolf. I'm not believing in the hype again. It's going to come again. I know it's coming. I'm not going to buy into it.
It's going to come locally because it always does.
No, I know. But that's part of my that bothers me.
Right. I do think nationally, I don't think they're going to get a lot of love at all.
No, I don't think so. They'll get some. They'll get some, but not a lot.
When any show on NFL Network or ESPN, when they do NFL Live or whatever, when they talk about the AFC South, it's going to be Texans, Texans, Texans.
You know what?
So, and in my opinion, that's a good thing. Because you're right. Locally, they're going to get propped up again because they always do. But I hope that some of those guys see all these national people pick Houston and talk about how it's their division and they're going to just roll through. I hope that happens.
Well, it is their division to lose. They're the champs. So
it is.
That is fair. But so here's the caveat. Ryan Nielsen. After I read up more about him, talk to the guys on and off, I'd go back to camp just to watch him and see if everything's true. I want to see that intensity. I want to see some of that and let that carry it, because what happens if your defense gets intense, guess what happens? Your offense gets intense because if your competitive juices get going, next thing you know, it's on. Not full speed, but, a little bit more than we've seen in the past. Like, get them battle-tested, battle-ready a little bit more. I just like the accountability thing, so I'm looking forward to that, and we'll see how that goes. All right, the franchise tag season opened yesterday. Let's see, you got to have a deal by 7/15, I think, or they got to sign the tag. If they don't sign the tag, they run the risk of not playing for the whole year, right? So eventually they sign the tag. Interesting people on it. All right, so, and this is just, one or two publications. The different free agents available that they think are going to get tagged. Like, these are my, like my glasses. Yeah, they're my little old lady glasses. All right. T. Higgins probably going to be tagged. Brian Burns, who, by the way, I saw is looking to $30 million a year for Brian Burns. So if you're just think about it. Now they haven't agreed to that, but that's I saw where he's thinking about that's the range he's looking for, $30 million a year. So if he is, does Josh Allen have the? I mean, he has a right, of course, but that's a good one-on-one, right? So maybe it's not. I'm thinking like this Josh Allen deal should be easy. As long as he's not looking to be the top paid pass rusher in the game, I think that would be tough for me to pull that trigger. But close to it. You know what I mean? I don't think he's Bosa. I don't think he's Myles Garrett, but he's pretty damn close. He's Brian Burns. You know what I mean? And maybe even more of a complete player than Brian Burns. But Brian Burns is a great player. I'm not trying to take anything away. So maybe that deal's not as easy to get done. And then you look at Ridley, and we talked about that last time, like, what's his market going to be? You know what I mean? Like,
I personally think 30 is like the perfect number for Josh.
Yeah.
Because
5-year, 150, boom. Yeah. Get it done. Give him 100 guaranteed, and let's rock and roll.
Because Bosa's getting 34 a year.
And he just signed.
Yeah, he just signed. And Bosa is better than Josh Allen.
Yeah. And then Garrett and Wyatt, their deals, and I don't mean to cut you off, but they're a few years into their deals. Watt's at 28. Garrett's at 25. So, they're both getting.
And Montez Sweat is in there at like 26, I think.
24 and a half, I think. Yeah.
30 feels like a good kind of in between because I think he's, obviously Watt and Garrett, when they get new deals, it's going to be more than that.
Yeah.
When you talk about like the Montez Sweats of the world, Josh Allen's better than him.
Yeah.
And he's kind of in that range. I feel like based on all the numbers we just said, I feel like 30 is a perfect, reasonable number for Josh.
You know, it's interesting, too. I've read today the non-exclusive tag numbers are the same for wide receiver and defensive end. 20 million. 20 point something. Not the exact same, but in the same.
The non-exclusive tag?
The non-exclusive
Isn't
tag.
that what the Ravens gave Lamar last year?
Yes.
Where, like, a team can offer a trade and...
But they had 2 first-rounders, that whole thing, Yep.
Okay.
So that I found that pretty interesting, right? Because I prefer you tag Ridley because I don't know what it. Do you want to break the bank with him? No, no. But he'll get it out. He'll get it out there. He will.
Yeah, I think so too.
I mean, at least close to it. I gotta think that someone, if the Jags are like, trying to work a deal like they should, hey, we gave you this chance, we want you here. Maybe, here's the thing about negotiations that we don't know because we're not in there. What matters most? Is it a big signing bonus? So they can take care of some things that they got to take. You know what I mean? Like, is it, I don't know, overall guaranteed money, and when that's delivered, because, they deliver it over time. They don't just give you $80 million. It's you get, your year guaranteed, then you get a roster bonus, then you get another bonus, then another year guarantee. You know what I mean? It just depends how they structure it.
Typically, and, you played, so you would know this better than me. What I've heard typically in the past and, players on different podcasts and stuff and what they've said is, again, unless there's, like, extenuating circumstances, like you said, maybe you need, for whatever reason, you might want more cash now, so a signing bonus, whatever.
Yeah.
For the most part, typically, what a player wants most is long-term security.
And guaranteed money is big.
Right.
Which is the same, pretty much.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So I want, if I'm signing a 4-year deal, I don't care so much what the entire contract is worth. I care what my guaranteed money is over that 4 years.
Right.
And I like that it's 4 years instead of 2 years.
Yeah.
And I'm willing to sacrifice a few million a year for that extra security.
Right.
And that extra length. And that's what most what I've heard players say on different podcasts and things like that.
Yeah, well, the guaranteed money is guaranteed, right? And when it's fully guaranteed, not injury guaranteed, that's even better. But that can work on the team side too. Like, say they go to Ridley and offer him, I don't know, 2-year deal, $36 million or $39 million, whatever. It's like 17, 18, 19 mil, but we're going to guarantee both years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know how that works cap-wise per year. I guess it would be 20 or whatever it is per year towards the cap. They got to work with the cap, but listen, they can massage the cap. Cap's going up 50, I think 25 million. Not 50. I think it's 25 million per team right around there. So it'll be interesting. But when I saw that with Brian Burns, I thought that's interesting. How about down in Tampa? It looks like they're not going to tag Baker. They might have to tag Winfield, who is a phenomenal defensive player. They believe Mike Evans will get a long-term deal. I would like to think that Evans is going to fight for Baker and Baker wanting to be there, but Baker showed he can carry an offense. His arm's still phenomenal. He still can make plays. You got to think there'll be a market out there for him. I think Kirk Cousins, another free agent. I was thinking about it also today, Grammage, and I didn't add it up, but think of all the guaranteed deals that Cousins, even 1 year's. Think of the money that guy's made. And I like him. I like him after watching the quarterback series on Netflix. He's a tough dude. I like that guy a lot. But
it goes to show, part of it is you got to be willing to bet on yourself. I think this is not an entirely fair thing to say because positions besides quarterback, I think injury and stuff is a lot more likely. So quarterback's a little bit. You can still get hurt playing QB, obviously, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, definitely.
It shows that players hate franchise tags. Kirk Cousins made a lot of money on franchise tags, man.
Yeah.
And then went to Minnesota, took the big deal. Dude, that guy, just because he's been reliable, he's been there, he's been a good teammate. He's never been the number one QB in the league. But he's always been a guy that a GM knows I can count on this guy.
Yeah, he's solid for sure.
Really
you
solid.
Can't count on. The thing is with the 1 year tags, though, you get hurt and it's career ending. There are no more tags.
Right. So that's the risk.
That's the risk. Because I remember Double D here in Jacksonville tagged 3 times in a row. Now, granted, all that money was guaranteed, But, what if he got hurt, after year 2? He got hurt later on. You know what I'm saying? So, look,
it's different for non-QBs.
Yeah, I agree with that. And
it's like we just said, like, you can still get hurt as a QB. I mean, Kirk Cousins himself literally tore his Achilles last year.
Right.
But it's more likely you're going to get hurt playing a position that's not QB, especially in today's day and age.
No doubt. Especially those Achilles, they seem to be getting more.
If I were a quarterback that was commanding, that could potentially command big money on the open market, I would be more willing to sign a franchise tag than if I played a different position.
Yeah.
If I played defensive line, linebacker, if I played wide receiver, anything else, I'd be a lot more worried about it because it's just like you said, you never know, man.
Yeah.
One guy dives at your knee, you're done. You may never get another deal again.
How about just leaving the sideline to take the field for your next possession, like Greenlaw went down with? You know what I mean? Now, you don't know what led up to that, but still, you get hurt in any given time. All right, so it sounds like Jonathan Greenard's going to get a deal out in Houston. Danielle Hunter, Justin Matabuke out of – you're not going to let that guy go. Why would you ever let him go? There is a guy I read, though, that I hope we make a run at. I'm not saying he'd come here. Maybe he would. But Christian Wilkins, they're not expected to tag him down in Miami. And he's probably top 5 or 6 defensive tackle in the game right now. Very athletic, stout against the run, can give you pass rush.
He's exactly
and
the
he
type
is
of
an
guy
animal. Animal. I don't know. Is him and Trevor on Clemson at the same time? Maybe? Close to it?
Yeah. I think they were on
Could be a pull there.
I think they're on the national championship team together.
ETN maybe too. Maybe they play together. So, anyway, he would be the kind of guy that I'm talking about. Like that kind of presence inside that can just disrupt things. Wreak havoc in the backfield, not get pushed back, those types of things. And he'll make everybody else better. I'd like to see that. So he's probably a guy I'm looking at pretty tight right now. From a free agency standpoint, we'll look forward to seeing when that opens up and how aggressive we are. Of course, next week is the Combine, the NFL Combine. I'm filling in next Tuesday night, helmets and heels, baby.
Nice.
Me and Taylor Dow, we're going to do some helmets and heels. The girls are going to be up at the Combine. That'll be great.
The all-female show. Of
the all-female show.
And Taylor Dow.
Here we go, man. Here we go. Look, I don't watch enough college football to sit here. I watch some. Like, if you ask me, Tom, what do you think about Keon Coleman? I've seen him enough. I'm like, man, I'm looking forward to seeing what he does at the Combine. And he may not blow you away at a 40, but he'll blow you away with everything else, I bet. I bet you his quickness is off the charts. I bet you his route running is going to be really good. His hands should be good. He'll be explosive. I don't know what he runs a 40 in. I don't know if I really care. But the way that guy can catch the rock, make people miss, I don't know if I'm taking him in the first round, but it depends how he does at the Combine. But that's a guy that I'm definitely intrigued about. These other guys, who else, impressed me? I saw his name, Jeremiah Trotter Jr. Remember his dad played for the Eagles. Beast of a backer. Guy's a pretty athletic and active linebacker. Again, you're not taking him in the first round, but a kid that I at least watched a few games to be like, all right, that kid makes a lot of plays. Very active linebacker.
I can't take another linebacker.
No, we're not good. I didn't mean for us. This wasn't for us. I'm just talking in general. I wasn't invited to the Combine. My slow ass wasn't invited. So I never went. Thank goodness. I probably would have ran a really bad 40 time. I probably would have pulled a hammy at first 5 yards. Like, oh man, just can't do it.
Is there a video of Atomic Manus 40 out there somewhere?
There should be. Yeah, my best 40. So I ran it
because you did BC's Pro Day.
I did BC's Pro Day.
Yeah.
I ran I ran a 4.9 at BC's Pro Day at like 2:45.
That ain't bad.
Well, I was better. I was quicker. My 20-yard shuttle was like 4.4, 4.3. I was quick. Once you got past 20 yards, it wasn't like, I'm running anybody down.
I bet if you ran a 4.9, you said you ran a 4.9 at 2:45.
My best I ever did was a 4.79 on grass with the Jags at about 2:52.
Okay.
So,
because I was gonna say, I bet if
4.8,
I bet if you were in today's game, you could probably get that down to like a 4.6 because you'd be
the training,
and you'd be because of the difference in position now, you'd be playing at probably 20 pounds less.
Yeah, maybe 235.
Yeah,
maybe.
Because every linebacker does.
Yeah,
now. They don't put on the weight they used. I mean, look at how big Ray Lewis was when he played.
Yeah, he was small in college.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, he was. He was
have
little.
you heard the story about that before?
What's the deer antler spray story that got him jacked?
No. Just about his Ravens teammates when he first got there.
Yeah,
he was like all cut up and chiseled.
Yeah,
in my bodybuilder type of look. To him. And they saw him take his shirt off for the first time in the locker room. They were like, he won't play like that.
Yeah,
you're gonna look a lot different when it's time to play ball. And he got much bigger, obviously.
Yeah,
put on a lot of muscle mass, but. Nowadays, it'd be the opposite.
Yeah.
You want to be trim like that because you got to keep up with these fast
as long as you can
ends
run. I mean, there are guys that are heavier that can run. You got to really be able to run today because they spread you out. The RPO can be very challenging. Taking look, we took the tight end down the field, so you got to do that anyway. But as long as you can move, that's the key to today's game. That's for sure. But I will say this, they better stop the run. No matter how light or heavy they are, because we all know when it all push comes to shove, you got to do that, or you're gonna have a tough time being a really good defense overall.
If there's one way, and the 2023 Jaguars taught us this. If there's one way to guarantee losing football, just get pushed around.
Yeah.
Everything else, things might happen, calls, whatever, play calling, whatever. Yep. If you get pushed around on both sides of the line, you will lose football games.
Yeah.
That's just a fact.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Combine Talk brought to you by Team Tommy Mack. You see the hat, Chris Lucero's bail bonds. He leads us off today. Number 1 name in the bail game. Don't get thrown in jail, man. I mean, be smart. Don't get caught. No, I'm just kidding. Just if you do get thrown in the clink, he'll get you out in a blink. 904-822-2245. J-Dog Junk Removal and Hauling. All you contractors out there, all you builders, anybody that's dealing with construction, make sure you check J-Dog out at jdogjunkremoval.com. Integrity all the way, veteran-owned and operated. Carpet Man Flooring, home of the best flooring you can imagine. Highest quality at the lowest prices. Carpet, tile, LVP, baby. Luxury vinyl planking, you name it. Of course, Azar Sausage Company, third generation. Not many third generation companies last, but they do. Why? Because they do it right every single time. Homegrown and down home. Find their great tasting sausage all over Northeast Florida, including Winn-Dixie, Publix, and your other local grocers. Solomon's Ventures, all these home goods, man. I mean, I'm talking clothes, I'm talking food, I'm talking luggage, I'm talking furniture, I'm talking all types of items that you and your family can save big time on because it's lower than wholesale prices. Check them out on Art Museum Drive. Code Ninjas. We did the Ninja Fest last weekend. It was fantastic. These guys, I'm telling you, they're teaching your kids AI, security, code. Look, the trades are coming back, man. I don't know if this is a trade for life, but get your kid off the right start. You can start them at 5. By the time they're done at 15, they can write code and do all types of things in the tech world. Get them off to a great start. 4 locations for them. Graffiti Burger Bar, one of my favorite spots to get some wings and a burger. I'm telling you right now, ever since the new ownership, my friend Kelly and Jack and the new management. Of course, we do the other show over there, the Happy Hour show. But man, great food, great service. TVs galore. Go there for your next sporting event. Salt Air Inn and Suites, of course, owned by Beach Life Rentals. You see Beach Life all over, up and down from Atlantic Beach all the way down to Flagler Beach. They rent everything out for you to have a great time. Umbrellas, chairs, you name it, surfboards, et cetera, et cetera. They also handle the pier, so make sure you go check them out. And if you want a cool place to stay, a boutique hotel with concierge service, check out Salt Air Inn and Suites. All right, this is a guy I noticed, if I may, because look, O-line, D-line, I'm talking draft, right? So combine, draft. DB, I'm talking at 17, like what I'm looking at, right? What? Look, I'm okay if they take a corner at number 17. I mean, there are a couple here, of course, the kid from Toledo, everyone's fallen in love with. He's moving up the board. I don't know if he's gonna be there. They call him a shutdown corner. I want to see this Enos. I think it's Ennis. He's from Missouri. Rakestraw. Have you heard of him? Okay, so it's from a look. you look on different sites and you check guys out. I just want to see what they say about him. So he's 6 feet 190. He's supposed to run really well. So he's a taller guy. He likes press, and they think he could be a plus starter in the league. So not just a starter, but a good, solid starter. So, look, all I'm saying is at a corner, I would take a corner if he's ranked that high. You got to go by your board. It's one thing with needs. A good thing, two things. Good thing you have multiple needs. You can really take the best player available at those positions, right? I don't want to see a reach. That's one thing we learned the hard way. We learned it last year. Not reaching for Anton, but thinking that's all we needed. Right, because we returned 21 to 22 starters. So I want to take the best player available, at a position of need if you can, for sure. And now, look, you're not going to take a linebacker. You're not going to take a running back. I understand that. But make sure you get the best player available at that position.
You don't know they won't take a linebacker. Balky might say, hold my beer. Taking a linebacker. He's taken 57 of them. So if you're going to take an edge, which I don't think they are, but if you believe Trayvon Walker is going to put his hand inside more times than he did by far last year, right? Well, an edge is one thing. Yeah. I'm talking like a linebacker.
I don't see that. I can't, man, not after last year. Come on, you haven't even seen Miller. Are you giving up on Miller? What about Abdullah? Where's Abdullah? Like, look, it's only year one. So look, you got to see him in year two. Maybe the year in the gym helped. Practice squad. They're still out there practicing. They're growing. They're learning. You know what I mean? Got to see what happens. I'd be shocked if he does that. If he does that, I'll be totally shocked. But
speaking of camp,
I don't see it happening.
You were talking about how something that bothers you is the hype around camp and this and that, whatever. The pet peeve of mine during camp, because I just start to see it, it's like Groundhog Day now, is all these late draft pick, undrafted guys that get all this hype for our team. They pan out on other teams for some reason. But for our team, once the season starts, man, you get about a month into the season, you forget these guys exist.
Yeah.
I mean, Elijah Cooks didn't sniff the field until 2 receivers got hurt late in the season.
Right. And Trevor never looked at him except that one time, and he dropped it. He barely looked at him.
How often do we talk about Yasir Abdullah in the offseason, how good he was supposed to be?
Remember, he led the ACC in pressures, Graham.
I know.
He had 57 in 1 year. We're like, where is that? What happened? Why isn't he coming off the bench to be one of your guys?
Tim Jones?
Yeah.
What did Tim Jones do?
Yeah, well, I don't know. I want to see Abdullah another year. I'm willing, you know what I mean? It's still young. I want to see Tank improve. I want to see if he's going to do anything, I tell you, year 1 to year 2, you should feel a lot better about your playmaking ability. No doubt about that. Your confidence should be pretty high. I wasn't even a starter. I started like 4 games my first year. I was short yardage at goal line, first team, and then punt and kickoff and that kind of thing. But year 2, I felt like, I'm ready to rock and roll, It's just because you've done it, and the more you do it, the better you should get at it. I want to bring up one thing. This defensive tackle, you probably know this kid, but the reason why I'm bringing him up, I think he's a big dude, like 6'6", 350. Sweat from Texas, a defensive lineman. I read where he dominates double teams, and I thought, ooh, that would be, as a linebacker, for a defensive tackle to dominate double teams. That's a fantastic thing. That means he doesn't get pushed around, and he splits a lot of them. Because that's what they're taught. When you get double team, you got where's the weakest point? It's where their shoulder pads meet in the middle. So you got to split that and have enough lower body strength to dig your feet into the ground. And these 2 animals are trying to block you. It's a great job, let me tell you. But he looks interesting. Now, I don't know about 17, but I want to see. So we'll get into more draft talk. We'll do a little bit more, homework on that regard. Look, I don't use AI like a lot of people do out there. Hey, tell me We're the top picks out there. I'm kidding. I know y'all watch your tape. No doubt about that. All right, as I wrap up, a couple things to wrap up. One is Matthew Slater retires. 18 years in the National Football League. His dad was Jackie, if you remember, the left tackle for the Rams. Played like 21 years, I think. I mean, what genetics is that? Are you kidding me? 18 years as one of the top, if not the top gunners in the entire game. Special teams. 10-time Pro Bowler. 10-time. Now, a lot of that's but whatever. That's 10. That's a lot. That's like Randall McDaniel. Remember, he had like 10 or 11 in a row. Bruce Matthews. It's pretty impressive, man. Is he a first ballot Hall of Famer? 10 Pro Bowl? I mean, it's a specialized deal.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what? Belichick said about him? He says, now I've coached the best offensive player ever in the game, Tom Brady, the best defensive player in the game ever, Lawrence Taylor, and the best special teams player ever, Matthew Slater. How about them words? I think I'd have him represent me to the Hall of Fame committee if I'm Slater when it's my time to be. We'll see who comes out.
Belichick,
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's first ballot, but, man, what a fantastic career. All right, I do want to wrap up with this. And, look, man, this is a sports show, and this is about sports. It's also about people. I read where they figured out this Kansas City parade shooting. Two men are arrested, charged with murder. Pulled their guns seconds after the argument started. The argument started reportedly over staring. Are you freaking kidding me? I mean, first of all, look, I'm not the end-all, say-all. I don't understand this culture of pulling out a gun makes me tough. I just don't. Look, last resort, you know what I mean? Maybe, I don't know, but that's not what beefs are about. And they weren't growing up for me. Now, I grew up 30 miles outside of Chicago in the suburbs. We didn't deal with what they dealt with in the inner city, no doubt about that. But it was the suburbs, and we had all walks of life. And what did we do when we had arguments? We fist fought. That's what we did. It was one-on-one typically, not always, but typically it was. And then the fight was over, and then it got broken up. Maybe you fought again the next day. Maybe you didn't. Maybe it was just over. But nobody's pulling out a freaking gun to kill somebody over a stare. And by the way, if I may, you know how many altercations I've diffused by just not engaging in the stare? All throughout my life, walking in a place, another big guy wants to size you up. It happens all the time. It still happens today. I see him out of the corner of my eye, but I'm not looking for any trouble, man. Now, if you get in my grill, that's a different story. But just a look, because you know what happens. What happens with a look? What are you looking at? What are you looking at? Next thing you know, you're beefing over what? Over nothing. Over absolutely nothing. Can we please teach the young kids today that you don't have to go brawling over a damn look, over a stupid look, that you don't have a gun on you where you're going to pull it out and shoot somebody for staring at you the wrong way. Give me a break, man. This is just, and why would you bring a gun? And look, I'm not making this political, so please, that you can save that for another time. But why would you bring a gun to a parade? I mean, are you out of your freaking mind? I know, the society of today bothers me, man. It's just, I wish we could go back a little more old school, a little more couth, a little more, I don't know, just better. I ran into a friend of mine. He's selling Ozempic by the injection. He's like, oh, it's flying off the shelves. I'm like, that's just, I know people need it for diabetes, but people that are doing it just to lose weight, you're taking the easy way out. I don't know. Go work out. Eat less. Eat less at night and go work out, And he said to me, he goes, hey, Tom, the reality is people would rather take a shot to lose weight than actually put in the effort. I'm like, yeah, that sounds like about our society today. I don't get it. Whatever, to each his own on that side. But come on, man, get over the you're not tough. And all my friends, all walks of life, I would ask them, are you tough when you pull out your gun? They'd say no. That doesn't show that you're a tough kid or a tough guy. What it shows is you're a moron and you're going to go to jail for the rest of your life, especially if you kill somebody. And then you got no weapons inside. Maybe you get a shank or two. I don't know. I'm not going to be there. I've never been there. I'm not going to act like I know what it's like. But that just bothered me. Come on,
man. If you do need to go there, call Curtis Sarah's Belmonts.
You better call him quick. Thank you. Good call. No doubt about that. Listen, man, I wish everyone peace and love out there. No doubt about that, and a great life. And, man, I tell you, sports, business life, it's all the same. and I enjoy doing this show, and I hope you enjoy it as well. So we will carry on a Wednesday. We'll be back on Friday. I got Horse's Mouth tomorrow. I've got Jaguars today, Friday morning, 10 to noon, right here on 1010XL. I've got the podcast, Catching Up with Tommy Mac podcast, right after that. Saturday, Dad Bods at Iggy's out in Fruit Cove. Come join us. Sunday, I'm totally chilling with the fam, and we're going to have a great time, and I hope you have a great week throughout the rest of the week. Until next time, stay safe out there and be cool. And until next time, right here on Catching Up with Tommy Mac. Peace.